Welcome to Chennault Aviation Military Museum. It's a harvest host in Monroe, Louisiana that sure knows how to issue some Southern hospitality. There are two places where you can set up your RV. One is right here in front of the gray box where they offer you free power. This is a 30 amp hookup site. We are parked off to the side of the museum where they have graciously given us free 50 amp power. There's 50 amp and 30 amp on this side. Right beside this soldier is the 50 amp hookup. We did have to stretch out our electrical just a little bit, but it works. Some more of that Southern hospitality. They tell you you can top off your tanks with the water hose. There are picnic tables where you can come out and enjoy. These are compliments of a Boy Scout troop, 76, Somebody's Eagle Project. As a Harvest Host guest, you can make a donation, buy a brick, or purchase something in the small gift shop. Or maybe do all three, mix and match. All gave some, and some gave all. You can sit out here at Kilpatrick's Serenity Garden, dedicated to the memory of all who proudly served and protected their country. The museum is proudly named after Claire Lee Chennault, Lieutenant General, United States Air Force. National Rosie the Riveter Memorial Rose Garden. These roses honor the legacy of the women who made history on our home front during World War II. If you are a military buff, Chennault Aviation Military Museum is a must-see harvest host. We're at Chennault Museum, where they preserve, promote, and honor aviation and military history. Remember, every day is Veterans Day. Thank you to everyone that has served in the United States Armed Services. This United States Army helicopter, informally known as the Loach, was used in the Vietnam War. There's a small little memorial here where you can relax and enjoy some fresh air. Before or after you go into the museum, make sure you allow a little bit of time to go through the Chennault Park. This is a really cool harvest host, and you can take your pet inside. Just make sure they can go to the bathroom before you go inside. They invited you in. Let's go see what we can find out. It's a portrait of Colonel Chennault. Here is an example of a World War II Red Cross uniform.
There's Uncle Sog about times up there in uniform, and then he looked like 24 years in the Army. Supposedly said, when I get out of service, I'll never be shaken again.
There's a Fred C. Culpepper Jr. room. We saw most of the weapons in the James Albert No Sr. room. Check out this library in the museum. Tons of books on war, tons of books on the military. This is your Harry W. Plew Military Library. Military has been here since ancient times. This is the dragon robe that was given to Colonel Chennault in China. This is a wonderful museum where all kinds of volunteers in here will make this a hands-on learning experience. This is a pet-friendly museum, and they even gave Nikita a treat. You could spend a few hours in here. This is so cool. They have an army trunk full of uniforms for the kids to have an exploration station. Colonel Chennault was part of the Flying Tigers.
Growing up on a farm in northeast Louisiana, my dream was to fly airplanes. But when I first joined the infantry in World War I, they put me on a horse. After the war, I was able to earn my wings in the Army Air Corps. I loved flying and did so every opportunity I could. I worked hard to serve my country, but my commanding officers rarely agreed with my ideas about aviation and combat. So I retired and accepted an invitation to go to China. I planned to stay a few months, but realized how much the Chinese people needed my help to defend themselves against the Japanese. This exhibit is not just my story. It's a story of the brave Chinese and Americans who worked together to defeat the Japanese. We fought together as brothers and formed relationships that would last our lifetimes. It is my fondest hope that the sign of the flying tiger will remain aloft just as long as it is needed, and that it will always be remembered on both shores of the Pacific as the symbol of two great peoples working toward a common goal in war and peace.
The museum is inside and outside. You can go through it at your leisure. So in the back, I think these are planes that they're going to be restoring soon to go in this museum. What do you think of the Chennault Museum?
There's a whole lot of history here. I don't think you can do this in a couple hours. I think you could spend days in there. Out here, no problem. Lots of stuff, but inside, I mean, there's so much, pictures of people, and we put some of them in the video, but not a big building, a lot to see.
So we here at Monroe, Louisiana, at Chennault Aviation Military Museum. We are the only museum in the United States that covers every theater of war, starting with the Civil War, leading up to Desert Storm, Iraqi Freedom, and Afghanistan. Each room is named after a Louisiana veteran. They came and served our country and then came back and made major contributions to the area.
You're gonna go full cock, and you're gonna fire. Then you're gonna get another round. You're gonna tear that off. You're gonna drop it in there. You're gonna pull this back out. You're going to again pack it in there. 3-4 good hard packs. You're gonna pull this back, drop that back down in there. Come up, pressure cap out, full cock, fire. Now, you need to be able to do that in 20 seconds or less. That is 6 rounds loaded and fired in less than 2 minutes. That's until 1863. We come out with our Burnside. Our Burnside was one of our first jacketed rounds. Now, what's interesting about these rounds is that there's no center fire or rim fire. This is a percussion round, and is what would be referred to as 20 and 9. You got 20 rounds in a box, and you can fire those rounds, keep at least like 2 or 3 of them just as a safety back, and you can reload those because they're percussion rounds. Half cock, put your percussion cap on there. You drop it in there, your round in, close it, percussion cap, full cock and fire. There are these revolvers right down there below you.
Mm-hmm.
These ones we do not allow guests to hold and handle, but we do have this 1851 Colt.
Oh.
This 1851 Colt was brought home by Grandfather Harrington. Grandfather Harrington drew down on a Yank right as the Yank drew down on him, and Harrington was the faster one and was able to take this off of him.
Wow.
So when it comes to being shot with a ball round, okay, this size or bigger, in old Civil War and old naval doctors' diaries, you are going to see them say one very important thing when removing these. You can pull out the bullet, that's all fine, but you better get that cloth out. If you get shot with a circular ball, a piece of shirt, however big size that round is, we'll say, shit, dude, you got shot by a 69 caliber. This size of shirt that's in there is going inside of you. So if you don't get that cloth out, that person's gonna die of infection. It's gonna fester, it's gonna gangrene, and you're gonna, later, bye. That's why a lot of guys, when they get shot, yeah, we remove the bullet, but they died from infection is most likely because that doctor didn't take that freaking shirt cloth out. And when you're on a Navy ship, right, you're gonna go even a step further because you're gonna maintain your clothing as best as possible. So if that doctor can pull that little circular piece of shirt out, you're gonna come to, you're gonna ask him for that piece of shirt back, and you're gonna have something sew it back on your shirt. Yeah. So go ahead and feel this blanket right here. Feel that fabric and that cloth.
Congratulations. You two gentlemen just touched Civil War uniforms. Yeah. And this is a matching number World War II Russian sniper rifle right here with original scope.
You'll aim down there, it's a lady on the wall.
Different kind of sight that you see on a sniper scope, huh? Yeah. This black handled knife is the knife that was given to Himmler by Hitler, thanking him for his years of service.
Okay, you notice the pink on the oppolites? Mm-hmm. Pink means tanker. Those are tanks. Mm-hmm. Okay, this uniform right here, the uniform shirt right there, that is from discarded clothing. The officer would come in and he would pick out certain pieces of clothing and all. The sewing is human hair. And that was from discarded pieces of cloth, you know, from the people who were interred into the camp. That middle, the sword, that's a genuine 1917 General George Smith Patton sword. Patton was the one that designed the sword for the cavalry before, well, during World War I. It's stamped 1917.
Made out of tires. You can put your foot down, then trace it out with a piece of chalk, cut it out, make the straps out of inner tubes, and they're more comfortable than flip-flop shower shoes. And they're long-lasting. They should be guaranteed for 35,000 miles, but I doubt
Steel belted?
That. Yeah.
One of the beauties of Harvest Host is being able to come out at night and explore the grounds after everyone else has left.
All right, it's time for the Chennault Aviation and Military Museum Cellular Service Report. Well, all these speeds are pretty good. We top off with T-Mobile at 103 megabits per second down and 21.8 megabits per second up. Second place, we have Verizon at 83.4 megabits per second down and 55.5 megabits per second up. And AT&T, not to be left behind, at 79.5 megabits per second down and 25.6 megabits per second up. And you may want some internet. Gets kind of quiet around there at night, so you pop in a good movie, maybe an old war flick, you know. Hey, we'll talk to you next time.